Good evening. Welcome to the session today. Hope you all can hear me. Can you guys confirm once? Am I audible? Okay, great. Thanks for confirming, everyone. So today is our very first demo on a GCP data engineering. Hope you all can hear me clearly and see my screen as well. If you guys are facing any issues, please let me know. And let me gonna tell you guys, this is our very first demo for a data engineering with a Google Cloud platform. And in this course, we are going to cover, or in this particular demo, I am going to start with the four topics. So this is the agenda for today's session, where we are going to talk about what is data engineering first, right? So what is actually a data engineering? And what is a data engineer do in the real time? So let us try to understand about data engineering, because our course itself, it is a data engineering with a Google Cloud platform. So first we should understand what is data engineering, and then we are going to understand about Google Cloud platform. Google Cloud platform. So what is Google Cloud platform, and what are the services that it is providing, and what are the benefits of using the Google Cloud platform over the other cloud platforms? Let us try to understand here. Okay, so that is what is our second thing. Okay, so first, what is data engineering? The second one is Google Cloud platform overview. In third topic, I am going to talk about the detailed course curriculum. The detailed course curriculum I am going to talk about. Here I am going to tell you about the cloud basics, as well as all the topics that we are going to cover in the next 3 months or 2.5 months. Okay, and finally the course details, such as the timings, the notes and recordings. So these are the four topics that I am going to cover in this today's session. What is data engineering and Google Cloud platform overview, detailed course curriculum and course details. These are the four things. And in this session, I am going to give you, if you guys have any questions, such as, for example, sir, after learning this course, how would I get a job? Right? Maybe some people will be having a questions like, what about my current experience, or how do I manage my current experience and get the job into the GCP data engineering? Right? So that is also I'll try to answer that. And some people may be having a question, sir, I do not know the cloud at all. I have never learnt anything about the clouds or so far, but can I be able to work in this particular area or not? Or some people will be able to work in this area or not. Sir, I can able to get the job, but sir, after getting the job, can I be able to work in this area? Is it easy to work or not? So such a kind of a question. Similarly, does it make sense to my profile or not? So some people will be having many more questions also, right? So these many questions people will be having it. So what I'm going to do in our entire 1 hour, 1.5 hour session today, I am going to clarify all of these questions. You are going to get answers for all of these questions by the end of the session. The only thing that you have to do is that be patient throughout the session. Please be patient throughout the session, so that you will be able to get all the answers by the end of the session. Okay, so this is what we are going to do, guys. So without any further ado, first let me gonna tell you about myself, guys. I think I might not have told you about, right? So my name is Shaik Saidhul. Okay, so I am currently working at Quantech as a solution architect. So I work in two places, guys. So I'm a solution architect at Quantech full time, and I'm also a consultant at Databricks, right? So this is also. And coming to my education, I have completed my master's degree from National Institute of Technology, Tiruchirappalli, NIT Trichy, and I do have more than 8 years of experience into the data and AI field. Okay, so coming to my certifications, I have done many certifications so far. So in the Google Cloud Platform, Azure Cloud Platform, Databricks, Python, Terraform, even more also there. So these many certifications I have done. And if you ask me about the training experience, from the last 1.5 years, I've been teaching this GCP data engineering. From last 1.5 years, I've been teaching this GCP data engineering, almost around 60 plus batches. more than 1100 people we have taught so far in the GCP data engineering. Okay, so that is what. Okay, I do have 2 to 2.5 years of training experience total. Training experience. I used to teach Azure also. I used to teach DevOps also. Currently in this particular batch, I am talking about a GCP data engineering. Okay, so that is what. So this is all about me. And now let us try to understand what is data engineering. Okay, sir, before data engineering, sir, let me ask you one simple question, that is, what is data? Tell me guys, what is data? Anyone? What is data? Can you guys answer this question? What is the data? What do you mean by data? Correct. So let me gonna tell you guys. So data is nothing but an information, guys. It is a collection of information. Sir, see for example, when you wake up in the morning, you wanted to order a breakfast. What do? So you go to Zomato or a Swiggy and you try to interact with an application and place some order so that there gets a data generated. If you clearly look at it, the moment you place an order in the Zomato, Flipkart, Amazon, Uber, Ola, wherever you are, the moment you are interacting with an application, so that's where the data is coming from. That is where the data is getting generated. Right. Similarly, you can have a data that is coming from some file formats also. So if you go to some medical firms or a production firms, right, what usually happens is that they actually, enter the data in the form of a CSV file or a Excel files, right? So they enter the data in a flat file so that, so you again have a data that is coming from the flat files also, or a file formats, whether it is a CSV, JSON, Parquet, or any file format. You also get a data from some kind of a databases. People in most of the companies actually store the data in the backend databases such as the MySQL or a SQL Server or a PostgreSQL, right? So you also have a data that is coming from some databases also. Similarly, so if you have a IoT devices or a sensor devices generates a lot of data. Again, you have a data that is coming from IoT devices as well. So you have a data that is coming from the multiple data sources. Sir, I have a data that is coming from the multiple data sources. It is nothing but a collection of information. Sir, I have an information from the applications. I have a information that is coming from the file format, CSV file, JSON file, Avro file, Parquet file. I have a data that is coming from some databases. I have a data that is coming from some IoT devices. Tell me guys, what is the use of this data? Any answers? What is the use of this data? Can we delete it? Can we delete this data? No. What the business is says that you can't. So you have a data that is coming from the multiple file formats. So this is where the lot of data with you. So if you try to understand this data, if you try to understand this data or analyze this data gives you a lot of insights. This data give you a lot of insights, and these insights are very useful for the business improvement. These insights are going to be very useful for the business improvement. So this is what is business. Every business says is that this one only. So you have a data. For example, let me say Flipkart may have a plenty of applications. Flipkart data may be in the form of a CSV file, JSON file. Flipkart may have their backend databases such as MySQL, SQL Server. Flipkart may have some kind of a sensors in their stores, right? So there's a data that is coming from these multiple data sources. There's a data that is coming from these multiple data sources. If Flipkart wanted to, because every business wanted to improve their sales or improve their customer satisfaction or a customer count. So every business wanted to grow. So that means you have to improve the business. Every business thinks about how to improve their business. So if a Flipkart wanted to improve their business, the very Flipkart business manager, the very first thing they say is that, so you try to understand the data or analyze the data. The moment you are analyzing your data, you are going to get some kind of insights. These insights are very useful for the business improvement, right? So this is what is data engineering, everyone, in a simple words. What is data engineering, sir? Is that you get a data from multiple data sources. You store the data, analyze the data, transform the data, and try to get some kind of insights from the data. And these insights are very useful for the business improvement. These insights are very useful for the business improvement. So this is what is data engineering. Now let us see in actual terms. So now, sir, I have a data that is coming from multiple data sources. So the very first thing that we do is that we store the data into the data lake, because we need to, if you wanted to analyze the data, sir, if I wanted to analyze the data, I must store the data, right? I must store the data in a single location. I must store the data in a single location, because this application may be running in some server, right? Similarly, these files are maybe running in some other format. The database is running in some location, right? So you have a IoT data that is coming from some different platform. So this data is coming from different platforms, different platforms. So you have to extract the data from these data sources, put it into a one single layer called data lake, put it into one single layer to store this entire data in a single location. That most of the time we are going to store this data in the data lakes. Okay, so most of the time we are going to store the data in the data lakes. Sir, can I directly go for the analysis once I have the data, sir? Now I have the data, sir. Can I directly go for the analysis? Can you guys tell me any comments on it? Can I directly go for the analysis now? Anyone? Tell me, guys. Can we directly go for the analysis? No, you cannot go for the analysis. Yes, because this data may have some kind of a duplicates. This data may have some kind of a null values. This data may have a unnecessary information, unnecessary records, or this data may have a lot of issues. So I can't directly use this data because this is a raw data that is coming from the data sources. So when you are getting the raw data from the sources, this raw data may have a plenty of the problems, everyone. May have a plenty of the problems, such as it may have a duplicates, it may have a null values, it may have a unnecessary data, it may have any other issues also. So that is the reason, once we have the data in a single location, we are going to do the data processing. We are going to do what, sir? We are going to process this data. In data processing, we are going to remove all of these issues. We are going to remove all of these issues. What is data processing, sir? If you ask me, data processing is nothing but cleaning the data, or transforming the data, or enriching the data, or adding the value to the data, adding some kind of a value to the data. The moment you are trying to add some kind of a value to the data, so that's where the data is properly cleaned, or the data is ready for the analysis purpose. So you prepare the data for the analysis in the data processing. Once the data is ready, you are going to do the data analysis in the data warehouses most of the time. You can go and do the data analysis in the data warehouses. So with a simple SQL language, you can able to process the data in the data warehouses, right? So you store the data, you extract the data from the multiple data sources, you store it, process it, and analyze it. Once you have analyzed this data can be sent it to the Power BI or a Tableau, or this data can be sent it to the machine learning platforms, or this data can be sent it to the a data scientist, and this data can be sent to the business groups. Okay, so what is this one, sir? Once you have analyzed the data, this data can be used to visualize it. Most of the data can be created or used for creating the dashboards or reports. Or there can be a machine learning engineer who creates a machine learning models out of this data. Right. And there can be a data scientist also who uses this data to find the future trends. There can be a business group who are going to utilize this data for decision making purpose, right? There can be a data engineer who you utilize this data for the data decision making purpose, right? So this is what is we call it as a data engineering, guys. So these are our downstream. This is our downstream. So you have a data that is coming from multiple data sources. You are going to store the data, process the data, analyze the data, and send the data to the downstream for their utilizing for purpose. Either it could be a BI or a ML or a data scientist or a business groups, right? In this one, there is a one more process also we do, that is called as a data governance or a quality or monitoring. Right. So what do we do, sir? Throughout this entire process, we also make sure that the data is quality enough, because data has to be quality. Otherwise, if there is no quality, if there is a compromising in the quality, the results are not going to be fruitful. So that is the reason throughout this entire process, we make sure that the data is quality enough. The data is accurate and complete throughout the entire process. So that is comes under the data governance and monitoring. Okay, so this is what is data engineering, guys. In a simple word, sir, as a definition, sir, data engineering is a process of, sir, data engineering is a process of collecting the data, organizing the data, preparing the large amounts of the data so that it can be easily used and analyzed. Data engineering is a process of collecting, organizing, and preparing large amounts of the data so that it can be easily used and analyzed. During this process, it may involve designing and building the systems and infrastructure that allow a data to be captured, stored, and processed and accessed efficiently. It involves designing and building the systems and infrastructure that allow data to be captured, stored, processed, and accessed efficiently. So this is what is data engineering, everyone. So this is what is data engineering. The main purpose of the data engineering is that we wanted to serve the analysis, right? You get the data from the multiple data sources, you organize it, store it, process it, and analyze it finally, and send the data. During this process, we may have to create a different infrastructure for storing the data. We may have to create a system for processing the data or analyzing the data, right? So this all the things are also comes under the data engineering, everyone. So this is what is data engineering. Sir, can you tell me what is the role of a data engineer? What the data engineer do? So before that, tell me, guys, if anyone have any questions on the what is data engineering, can you guys tell me if anyone have any questions? There can be a plenty of processing activities, right? So as I told you, right? So in data processing, we may remove the duplicates. We may handle the null values. We may remove the unnecessary data. We may clean the data, enrich the data. There can be a plenty of things, right, that comes into the data processing and transformation that we are going to see in our upcoming sessions for sure. Okay. Yeah. When it comes to the infrastructure is ready for you, but someone has to maintain it. Otherwise, see, for example, you wanted to work on some database, but the database has to be ready in as per the company standards. So this much amount of a RAM or this much amount of a GB of the CPUs, and this is a database version, and all of those things, networking, backup, all of these things has to be handled. Someone has to set up that entire database instance. Then only you can able to go and work on that area, right? So that could be a DevOps engineer or infrastructure team. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, anyone? Okay. So now you can understand what is data engineering. So now let us see what is a data engineer do every day. Sir, can you tell me, so far now, sir, we understand what is data engineering. What are the different data engineering activities are there, sir? So if you ask me, sir, there is one of the important step, that is data ingestion. Most of the data engineers work on this area also, that is data ingestion. Sir, what is data ingestion? So you may have a data that is coming from multiple data sources. You have to ingest the data from those different sources and into one of the layer in the Google Cloud platform, whether it is a cloud storage or whether it is a database or anything, or a data warehouse. So data ingestion is one of the very first activities where you ingest the data from the multiple data sources to your target system. That is your very first step. And then, so once you are ingesting, before you ingest it, you need to have a data that is properly stored. So that means you need to create a one storage location, and that storage location should comes up with a plenty of the features such as access control, security, scalability, right? These many properties should be there. So you need to find a solution, or some data engineer dedicatedly should work on the data storage and management to ensure that this process is done properly. So that's where one of the data engineer may work on the data storage and management. And one more thing is that the data processing. So data processing is nothing but creating the data processing pipelines, right? Because you don't want it to do the things manually. So you try to develop the code for the processing, and you run them in a automated scheduled fashion, so that it is running in a automated fashion every day at some point of time. So such kind of a data processing pipelines you have to create it, maybe by using the different programming languages or the frameworks, right? Either it could be a Spark, or could be Apache Beam, or could be a Python, Pandas, or any different frameworks you can use, right, for processing the data. So once you process the data, so that's where you are going to send it to again some storage layer. So such kind of an end-to-end processing pipelines you are going to create it. So that is also one activity. And there can be a one data engineer who dedicatedly work on the data quality and governance, making sure that whenever the data is moving from one platform to the another platform, the data is accurate and complete. So such kind of activity also should be there in most of the companies, providing the proper access control, providing the fine-grained access control. Such kind of features are also very much important in the company projects. And one more thing is that, again, I was telling you, right, data pipeline. Sometimes you wanted to create data pipelines or orchestration pipelines, right? So you have a data processing pipeline which you wanted to run it in an automated fashion, or this particular pipeline will be scheduled by some other scheduler, maybe like Airflow. Such kind of orchestration pipelines also. So such kind of a pipelines also you have to be build it. And one more thing is performance optimization. Maybe one of the pipeline is taking a lot of time to run, or one of the query which you are running it is taking a lot of time. So in that case, you have to make sure that it is running in an optimized fashion. It is running in an optimized time with optimal resources. It should not run in more time, right? So you should be having a knowledge on how to optimize the code also. A data engineer, a dedicated data engineer works on the performance optimization to making sure that all the pipelines or queries or code is running in an optimal time or optimal resources. And one more important thing is that a data engineer should always monitor and maintain the activities so that all of these things are properly running. Whatever your pipelines are, your data quality checks or data ingestion, all of these things are running properly, right? If it is not running properly, that's where the problem is, right? So that's the reason you should always monitor the things and maintain the libraries also properly. So this is also one more activity of a data engineer. So this is what is data. It's not that one data engineer works on all of these areas. So one data engineer may work on this area, another data engineer work on this area. So different data engineers works on different areas. So this is what is a data engineer doing a different data engineers work on these different activities every day. Okay, so this is what is the role of a data engineer, guys. Any questions, anyone, please? So do we have any questions on this thing? Okay, so if you do not have any questions, so what I'm going to do, I am going to talk about the Google Cloud Platform now. So far we have seen about what is data engineering and what is the role of a data engineer. That is what we have seen. Now I am going to tell you about the Google Cloud Platform. Sir, tell me, what are the other cloud platforms that you already know? Can you guys name some of the cloud platforms which you already know? Anyone? Correct, sir. You might have known about AWS. You might have known about Azure. Correct. Sir, you might have known about GCP, IBM, Alibaba. Right. So there are plenty of IBM cloud is also there. Oracle cloud is also there. Alibaba is also there. So plenty of cloud platforms available, guys. Isn't it? Sir, Alibaba. So, sir, what are these? If you ask me, sir, can you tell me what are these things? Can you guys tell me what are these? Sir, these are all correct. So these are all cloud providers. So these are all cloud providers, sir. What the cloud providers provides you guys? Can you guys tell me, sir? AWS is a one of the cloud provider. Similarly, Azure is a one of the cloud provider. Sir, GCP is one of the leading cloud provider. AWS, Oracle, Azure, and Alibaba. Sir, these are the different cloud platforms are there that we already know. So tell me what they actually provide us. Sir, these are cloud providers. Tell me what they actually provide us. Correct. There are different cloud computing services that they are going to provide. Sir, what they provide you? They are going to provide you the cloud computing services on a renting basis or a pay as you go model most of the times. Rented manner or a pay as you go model. So that means whatever the resources that you are going to use, so for that one you have to pay the money. So, sir, these are the AWS, Azure, GCP, IBM, Oracle, Alibaba. These are all the leading cloud providers. Sir, what they provide us, if you ask me, sir, they are going to provide you the cloud computing services. They are going to provide you what, sir? They are going to provide you the cloud computing services. Sir, what is the advantage of these services? Sir, what is the advantage? Anyone? Can you guys tell me what is the advantage of these services? Correct. Perfect. So what they are going to provide you is that they are going to provide you the cloud computing services, and these services are very useful for the organizations to build the application, deploy the application, and scale the applications and services in the cloud platform. So you don't need to set up the infrastructure from the scratch. All the infrastructure is readily available so that the teams can focus on the innovation instead of the infrastructure setup. So they are going to provide you the cloud computing services. For example, you are working on a data engineering project. You don't need to, if you wanted to store the data, process the data, analyze the data, visualize the data, if you wanted to do all of these things or any of these things, you need the infrastructure setup. So you don't have to set up your infrastructure. So they are going to provide you the cloud computing services so that you can make use of those services. So those, that is something that the all the cloud platforms are going to do. For example, sir, if you wanted to store the data, maybe I'll give you a simple idea, sir. Sir, if I wanted to store the data, tell me guys, I'm going to give you some 100 GB of the data. Where do you store? Where do you store it, guys? Anyone? Sir, I'm giving you some 100 GB of the data. Where do you store it? Okay, so that means that you have to store it in some hard disk or some machine. But who will purchase that machine or hard disk? So, sir, if you wanted to store some 100 GB of the data, the very first thing is that you need to purchase those machines. Whether it is a hard disk or machine or a server, you have to purchase the hardware. Yes or no? You have to purchase the hardware, right? Once you purchase the hardware, whether it is a machine or a server or anything, you have to install some kind of a operating system. Can you guys tell me, do you agree with me or not? Once you install the operating system, you have to do the initial configuration of the system, such as maybe assign the storage. You may have to do, you may have to assign the storage, and you may have to configure the backups. You may have to set up the networking, and you may have to do some kind of a maintenance and management. So maintenance maybe. So these, all of these things, sorry, if you wanted to store the data, you need to first purchase that particular hardware. Where do you want it to store it? Install the operating system, assign the storage, configure the backup, set up the networking. This is what the companies do, right? I'm not talking about your personal thing, guys. I am talking about the companies. For example, assume that there is a company requirement to store some kind of a data. If there is a company requirement for you to store some kind of a data in the companies, they do not ask you to store it in your local machine. They do not ask you to store it in your local machine. What they do, they purchase, that particular company purchase this entire activity. They do this entire activity. That is nothing but they purchase the hardware, install the operating system, assign the storage, configure the backup, set up the networking, maintenance. Then what they will do, sir? Then they can go and upload this data, store this data. Then they will focus on the development or whatever it is, right? Implementation, nothing but that particular implementation activity is storing the data. Then they will think about the implementation. In this particular criteria, storing the data is our implementation or development activity. So you store the data. So if you wanted to store the data, you are doing all of these things. Tell me guys, how much time it could take? Any guesses? How much time it could take in the company for to do all of these things? Right? So maybe some companies take, sir, 1 week. Sir, some companies do it in a few days. Sir, it could take from few days to few weeks to some companies may take even months also. So this is how, if you wanted to set up your entire infrastructure before storing the data, Before starting the development, all the things has to be done, and this is going to be taking days, weeks, and months also for everything to be ready as per the standard. So that's the reason companies don't want it to. This is what we call it as a traditional working culture. Traditional working methodology or traditional methodologies. In this traditional methodology, your company has to take care of all of these things, which is going to take a lot of time. It is not only taking a lot of time. Look at here. It is not only taking a lot of time. It is time consuming, lot of effort we have to put, and lot of money we have to spend. So these are the challenges or the problems that when you go for a traditional architecture, when you go for a traditional architecture or a traditional culture, so these are the problems that you are going to get. These are the problem with the traditional systems, guys. Now tell me, guys, any other alternative way at this point of time that we have? Any other alternative way to store this data? Now that we know that it is taking a lot of time, any other alternative way that we have? So that's where you can store this data in a cloud platforms also, right? You can go and store this data in the cloud platforms also, right? For example, if you go to the Google Cloud Platform, sir, in Google Cloud Platform, you have a service called GCS, Google Cloud Storage. There is a service called Google Cloud Storage. So you can just go to the cloud storage and store this data here. So it hardly takes 1 day. If you wanted to store some 100 GB of the data, you go and set up your account in the Google Cloud Platform, and you go to the Google Cloud Storage and start storing the data. Maybe for us, for real-time example, it would take hardly 3 to 5 days. Okay, so if you wanted to store the data, if you wanted to store the data in the traditional methodology, you are going to spend days, weeks, even months also. But in the cloud working methodology, you are hardly spending almost 3 to 5 days only, not more than that. So this is what we call it as a cloud computing model. So this is what we call it as a cloud computing methodology. In the cloud computing methodology, you don't need to set up your entire things. The entire infrastructure is taken care by the cloud platforms itself. The entire cloud infrastructure is taken care by the cloud platforms itself. You can focus on the innovation. So you're directly going for the storage. You're directly going for the storage. So earlier, these are all the things has to be done. Okay, so this is what we call it as a difference between the traditional working methodology and cloud working methodology. And now if you look at here, sir, there are plenty of the cloud platforms available. One of the cloud platform is what, sir? If you ask me, sir, that is what is Google Cloud Platform. Sir, what is one of the cloud platform? If you ask me, sir, that is what is Google Cloud Platform, sir. Sir, GCP is one of the leading cloud provider which provides you the cloud computing services for your organizations to store the data, process the data, analyze the data, visualize the data, not only for data engineering, but also for application deployment, for if one wanted to deploy the application, scale the application, build the application, or for machine learning also. So cloud computing services are going to be providing the different services for data engineers, for application development. So if in application development app building, deploying, scaling. Similarly, if you go for the machine learning model, ML model building, registering, and deploying and scaling. Similarly, for networking engineers, for example, if you look at the networking, so networking components, network components, creating, managing, such as load balancer, subnets, net, or different things are there, right? So that is what we call it as a creating those networking management, networking things. So all of these things, whether you are a data engineer or anyone, If there is a project requirement in any organization, if I take any organization, every organization will be having a project. If that particular project, in the particular project, if you wanted to store the data or build the application or build the machine learning model or networking, sir, if you wanted to do any of these things, you can see here, guys, that is what you can do here. AWS, Azure, GCP, IBM, Oracle, Alibaba. Sir, Google Cloud Platform is one of the leading cloud provider which provides you the cloud computing services in a pay-as-you-go model. So this GCP is one of the leading cloud provider which provides you the cloud computing services, and these services are very useful for the organizations to fulfill their project requirement, such as for storing the data or processing the data or application building or machine learning building or any other networking projects. So every project, if they wanted to fulfill their project requirement, there is a separate service available in the cloud platforms, and this is provided by the cloud providers. And one of the leading cloud provider is a GCP, sir. One of the leading cloud provider is a Google Cloud Platform. Sir, what is GCP? If you ask me, sir, Google Cloud Platform is one of the leading cloud provider that offers a range of products and solutions to the organizations for building, deploying, and scaling the applications and services in the cloud platform. Google Cloud Platform is one of the leading cloud provider which is provided by the Google itself. It offers a range of products and solutions to help organizations to build, deploy, and scale the applications and services in the cloud. So GCP provides a highly reliable, secure, and scalable infrastructure, and this infrastructure is available throughout the world. In India also, we have two data centers available in the Mumbai and Delhi also, guys. Google's infrastructure, nothing but data centers available in Mumbai, and we also have in Delhi. So Google is providing you a lot of services, sir. If you ask me what are those services, sir, there are plenty of the services it is providing you. If you look at here, it is providing you the compute services. Where is my cursor? Sorry. It is providing you the compute services, identity and security services, and management tools, and networking services, big data services, storage and database services, and machine learning services. Google Cloud Platform is providing you a plenty of services. These services are very useful for the organizations to fulfill their project requirement, whether it is for storing the data or processing the data, or creating a machine learning model, or deploying the model, or building an application, or deploying the application and scaling the application, whatever it is. There is a separate services provided by the Google Cloud Platform, and these services are reliable and scalable also. Any question, guys? Anyone on the GCP now? Anyone have any questions on the GCP? You can also see here, sir, why we have to learn the GCP. Some people may have a question. Sir, Google Cloud Platform has a very good community. So we have been using the Google from past 10 years. Maybe we are using it YouTube, or you are using the Google Maps, Google search engine, Google Analytics. So there are plenty of the Google services provided by, and one more service provided by the Google is Google Cloud Services, nothing but a Google Cloud Platform. And now it has a very good community support. And one more best thing about the Google Cloud Platform is that it provides you the cost-effective services for their users. It provides you the cost-effective services comparatively. If you go to AWS and Azure, comparatively the services are cost-effective here. And these services are flexible. So however you wanted to use it, you can able to use it. And the services are scalable up and down if you wanted to do it. Trustworthy, reliable, and secure. fully managed services also it is providing, and the interface also very simple and easy to understand. So this is how a Google Cloud Platform is providing you this many features. Because of that, most of the companies are looking towards a cloud platform. So plenty of opportunities are there. Google Cloud Platform is having a plenty of opportunities. If you can see here, the growth market in the last quarter for GCP over the other cloud platforms, if you can see, the market for the GCP is, sorry. So the market for the GCP is 54%. If you look at the AWS and Azure, the market is even lesser than the growth market. When I say it's not about the full market, the growth market I'm talking about. Last year to this year, or last quarter to this quarter, the growth market, growth rate we call it as, the growth rate is even more than the AWS and Azure. That means it's only because of its cost effective nature. When the companies are started using the GCP, that's the reason the growth rate changes every time. So when the company started using the GCP, that's where the plenty of opportunities are there for the GCP data engineers or developers or anyone. Right? So you can make use of it. Getting into the GCP data engineering role is very easy compared to the AWS data engineer and Azure data engineer. Very less competition, plenty of opportunities. If you go for Azure data engineer and AWS data engineer, there's a huge competition with a good amount of opportunities are there. I agree, but there is a very, very huge competition is there. Getting the job is nearly not possible. But when you go for GCP data engineer, very less competition because very less people know about the GCP. Yes, please. Of course, right. So that's what I'm telling you. See, Azure has a plenty of opportunities. AWS also has a plenty of opportunities. GCP is also having opportunities. So AWS and Azure, for example, if I say number here, it is 1,000 jobs. It is maybe 1,100 jobs, but look at here, it could be 500 only here, half only. But when you go for the opportunities, right, for these 1,000 jobs, almost 5,000 here, almost here 6,000 people will be competition for you. But if you go for 500, even 500 or 600 only, that means very, very less competition. And in some of the roles, there is no competition at all. Right? So that's how it is, because very, very less people skilled in the GCP. Very, very less people, because GCP is very new and most of the people does not know about it. Sir, if I wanted to get the job, do you look at the opportunities, number of opportunities, or do you look at the competition? So competition is very, very high in the Azure and AWS. So getting the job is very, very difficult. If you are learning a course and sir, I would like to get a job, that's where the difficulty is. You can't get it because people already might have learned like you like 3 to 4 years before. Right now you are learning the AWS. If you wanted to go for AWS and Azure, just think like this. If you are going to AWS and Azure, people like you 5 years, 4 years, 3 years onwards, people are already learning and they already got the exposure and they are in the real time working culture, and they are the competition to you now when you go for the job. But when you go for the GCP, it is not like that. Very, 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 if I just say, it is even not in hundreds also, guys, I'm telling you. So for example, if you are going for one job, right, you don't even find 100 GCP data engineer coming for the competition, because there is no person in the Google Cloud Platform who has a real time exposure up to 2 years. You don't even get 2 years, 2.5 years also. I am the person having very hardly, because I worked on the USA for almost 3 to 4 projects. That's where in other what we call it, in other countries, GCP was having almost known to them 4.5 years. So I currently have 3.5 years in the GCP. You very rarely you are going to get people who is having more than 2 years of experience in the GCP. If someone is saying I have a experience in the GCP, that's what means that they may have a 1 year experience, or they may have a attended the course at me and they are attending the interviews. Most of the people, almost I only taught 1200 to 1300 people from the last 1.5 years. So that is what is happening. Okay, so that is how you will be having a very less competition when you go for GCP compared to the AWS and Azure. So the jobs are almost double triple also. Here it could be 1500, it is 1600 also, double triple also. But the competition also even triple, 4 times, 5 times also. But when you look at the number of jobs with the competition, here it is very less, and getting the job is comparatively very easy to the AWS and Azure. So this is what is people that they don't look at it. They always look at the number of opportunities. They think that I can get the job. Why the number of opportunities? Because it's an established market. AWS and Azure is having an established market. When it is an established market, people have attended the courses. Millions of people have attended the courses, and they are getting already. They are working in that. And if there is a new opportunity, instead of you getting the job, they are actually get the job, and they ask for higher packages. So that's what happens with the AWS and Azure, because the market is already saturated. So that is what. Any other questions in the AWS and Azure, guys? Or sorry, any questions in the Google Cloud Platform compared to the AWS and Azure? Any other questions? So our course was, I'm going to talk about the course curriculum, guys, and I'll tell you what we have to learn. Because my course, I always, because I've been teaching it from the last 1.5 to 1.8 years, almost 2 years, I would say. And I have seen the trend from the last 2 years and how people are expecting. The thing is that I have designed this course in such a way that if I just teach one or two services, I can teach one or two services and I can let you go away. But the problem is that if you get a chance to work on the other area, that's where you are not able to work. Right? This is if they're asking you to work on some other area, again you are not able to work. So that's the reason this course is designed in such a way that almost all the Google Cloud services, Google Cloud data engineering services that we are going to cover, so that if you are getting a chance to work on in any of the service, you should be able to work comfortably. That is what is the main aim of this course. Not to get the job. Getting the job is very simple with my course. I'm telling you guys. People got even 6 offer letters also. Okay, I mean 2 months back, one of the guy has got 6 offer letters from all the from the 9 LPA to 27 LPA, 9 LPA to the 27 LPA, 6 offer letters. Okay, with the course, I'm telling you, there's a very depth in the course and very good opportunities outside. The main thing is not about the getting the job, because getting the job is very simple with the course. I can say the only thing that I look at my course is that I have designed in such a way that a real-time exposure I wanted to give it here. If you get a job and if you're working in the company, sir, I got a job, I have to work in the company. So you should be able to comfortably work in the company without any support from anyone. So that is how, or that is what we are going to focus on in the course. A real-time exposure. How do you actually work? How do you create your code? How do you work on this particular service? How practically, how depth of the course you are going to work in the real time, how the requirements will be, and what purpose you have to work on that activity. All of those things we are going to see in the real time labs and sessions and everything. So that is the main aim of the course, guys. Okay, yeah. So before or without any further ado, let me gonna tell you about the course curriculum, guys. Okay, let me gonna tell you about the course curriculum so that you get a good knowledge on what we are going to cover and what is the thing about the course, so that you get some idea. Right? So, sir, I have designed my course into 2 chapters. Chapter 1 is cloud basics. Nothing but Google Cloud Basics. Chapter 1 is Cloud Basics. And the chapter 2 is Data Engineering Tools. So these are the two chapters that we are going to cover. One is Cloud Basics. I want you guys, so the moment you are entering into the GCP, you should be having a good knowledge on the cloud basics, nothing but a Google Cloud. What is Google Cloud Platform and what is this GCP locations? What are the GCP interfaces? So the cloud basics. Then we enter into, once the cloud basics are completed, then we enter into the data engineering tools. Okay, let me gonna talk about my course in a proper way. So the very first thing that I'm going to talk about is cloud overview. So I might have given you some idea on the cloud overview now, and I might have given you the Google Cloud introduction also. Again, this Google Cloud introduction, everything will come again, don't worry. And we are going to look at the GCP interfaces, such as what is console, what is cloud shell, what is SDK. And after that, console walkthrough, free tier account creation, project to set up, enabling building and APIs. So in this one, guys, I am going to talk about, so module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4. In 4 modules, so very, very important things, the high level cloud overview, GCP introduction, right? So from here, actual topics actually start. GCP interfaces. So when you wanted to interact with the GCP, you have a console, you have a cloud shell, cloud SDK. And console walkthrough, I'm going to talk about free tier account. So, sir, we are going to do almost 80% of the time we are going to spend on labs. My way of teaching is, guys, 20 to 80. 20% theoretical, 80% is practical. This is theoretical, 80% is labs. So most of the concepts we are going to look at the labs, because you will be working in the company, not going to read in the company, right? So you should actually have a good exposure on all the topics in a real time. So theoretical, a mix of theoretical labs, but more inclined towards the labs. Okay, so if one wanted to do the labs, they need to have a free tier account in the GCP. So I'm going to tell you how to create a free tier account in the GCP, which is having a $300 in the credits for next 90 days validity. So this is what is something that we are going to create it in upcoming sessions. Okay, so I'm going to tell you how to create a free tier account in the GCP. Okay, so this is where we are going to do all the labs. Don't worry about that. And then we have a GCP locations, regions, zones, and selection criteria and importance. Okay, and after that, I'm going to talk about GCP IAM and admin, where I'm going to talk about identities, roles, policy, resource hierarchy. So these are the GCP cloud basics, guys. It takes almost 6 to 7 hours. That's it, not more than that. Hardly, I would say 6 hours. Okay, this is to make you comfortable to work in the GCP. That's what, not more than that. Okay, so one. So 5 hours to 6 hours. Somewhere we spend a few more. So total 5 to 6 hours, not more than that. Once we complete the Google Cloud Basics, I am going to enter into the data engineering tools. So tell me, guys, how many types of data we have? How many types of data we have? Correct. So you have a unstructured data, semi-structured data, and structured data. To work with the unstructured data, we are learning about GCS. To work with the semi-structured data, we are looking at the big table. To work with the structured OLTP, we have a Cloud SQL. Structured OLAP, we have a BigQuery. Sir, what is OLTP? What is OLAP? I am going to tell you in a detail in the next sessions. But look at here, the services are, we are going to cover 1, 2, 3, 4. Total 4 storage and database services we are going to cover, but this is minimal, guys. We are not going to into the deeper, because this is not used company widely. So this is minimal, but GCS, Cloud SQL, BigQuery we are going to see in depth. So here we are going to cover 4 storage and database services. Okay, so that is one thing. And after that, I am going to, sir, if one wanted to create the data pipelines, if one wanted to create the Spark pipelines, we are going to learn about the data proc, where we can Submit, Spark, and Hadoop pipelines. We are learning about the data proc. Then Beam pipelines, data flow. Then code-free pipelines, data fusion. So workflow orchestration tool, that is Airflow. So to create the data pipeline Spark, we are going to learn about the data proc 1, data flow 2, data fusion 3, Airflow 4. So again, 4 topics that we are going to cover here. Again, 4 topics that we are going to cover here, guys. And one more thing recently I have added, that is lakehouse architecture. This is not actually a data pipeline. It doesn't comes under a data pipeline, but it's an entire lakehouse architecture that I have teaching from the last, because I might have told you about me, guys. I'm also a consultant at Databricks. This is something that I have added recently in Databricks. So 5 data engineering again here. Earlier 4, here 5, total 5, 10, 9 so far. Additionally, we are also learning about the pub sub, streaming data ingestion, and event-based solution, cloud functions. And Terraform is a complementary. Terraform is a complementary. Don't worry about. This is complementary. So 1, 2, 3. So again 3 here. Right. So far 4 plus 5 plus 3. How many, guys? Total 12 data engineering tools that we are covering. After that, so an additional note, I am going to cover the Linux basics in the course, Python for data engineers, PySpark, as well as Apache Beam. So this is also we are going to cover. So Linux basics, important for the data engineers, Python for data engineers, Python, PySpark concepts, and Apache Beam concepts. So these are also we are going to cover in the sessions. Very much important. Okay, so these are the main things that we are going to cover, guys. And sir, I would like to tell you in depth what we are going to cover with my notes. Or this notes is going to be provided to you once you guys are enrolled for the course. So in this notes you have everything. This notes will be provided to you on an access level. Everything you have it here. So for example, cloud basics. So we are going to learn about the GCP introduction here. After that, GCP interfaces, console, cloud shell, cloud SDK. And we have console walkthrough where we are going to create a free tier account in the GCP, project setup, enabling billing, all of these things we are going to see. And then GCP locations, what is region, what is zone, selection criteria, and importance. GCP IAM and admin, where we are going to see about the roles, principles, permissions, hierarchy, policies, and all of those things we are going to see, service accounts and everything. And account creation, how to create a free tier account in the GCP. Installing the SDK, one of the method to interact with the GCP is SDK. And Linux basics, we are going to cover the Linux basics also here, that as required for data engineers. The Linux basics are also we are covering. Okay, so that is one thing. And once the GCP basics are completed, then we are entering into the data engineering. So the very first service is GCS. What is Google Cloud Storage? How to create a bucket in the GCS? What are the costs associated when you are creating the bucket? Cloud shell. Sir, what is a cloud shell? And how do we interact with the cloud shell to create the buckets, the commands? With all properties. These are the commands we are going to see. That means cloud shell is a command line interface. And every topic has a assignments. You can also see here the assignments. Then cloud SQL. Sir, what is cloud? Sorry. What is cloud SQL? Architecture and difference between the OLTP, OLAP databases or deployment modes, on premises or cloud. You are going to see this one. Very interesting topic. Connecting it to the cloud SQL. Data migration. So here we are going to cover one of the project in the cloud SQL, that is database migration project. So in this particular database migration project, so what are the phases when you're working in the company? How many teams that they are going to work? What is their hierarchy? What are the phases involved? Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5, and phase 6, how the things are happening. So the real-time actual work we are going to see here in the project. So manual method of working with database migration, automatic method also, manual method, and DMS, data migration method also. And in this thing, if you need any kind of a data and assignments also, you have it here. Okay, this is about Cloud SQL. And after that, we are looking at the BigQuery. Sir, what is BigQuery? What is the architecture of the BigQuery? BigQuery limitations. And working with the BigQuery. So what is the hierarchy in the BigQuery? Different ways of creating the tables in the BigQuery, table creation statements for practice purpose. And data sets, sample data set. What is partitioning? What is clustering? What is native table? What is external table? How do we create a native table? How do we create an external table? How do we create a partitioned table with a different methods? All the different types of partitions and clusters also we are going to see, and we are going to cover, and advantages of the partition and clustering, also limitations also we are going to see. For working with arrays, one of the complex topic. What is arrays and how do we work with arrays in the Google Cloud BigQuery, which is one of the advanced topic in the BigQuery. And 4 methods we are going to see here: simple JSON, string list JSON, JSON schema. Nested and repeated fields in the BigQuery again. Assignments for your practice purpose. What is the data, sample data, and questions and answers also provided. Case study 1 in the BigQuery is a Spotify case study. Case study 2, BigQuery social media case study. One case study I'm going to help you with to do it. I'm going to tell you. Second case study is for the assignment. And BigQuery view again here, case study 2. And you can see here BigQuery views. So in Google BigQuery, how many types of views are there? Logical view, materialized view, and everything. You can see here. And Python, as I told you guys, Python we are going to cover here. This is where we are talking about Python. Once the BigQuery is completed, there are 4 chapters. Python data types. What is string, operators, numbers, booleans, list, tuple, dictionary set, if and else statements, for loop, while loop, exceptional handling, file input output operations, functions, classes. All of these things we are going to cover. Similarly, data proc. So what is Hadoop? How people were working before the Hadoop, before the era of before the Hadoop and Spark. How Hadoop came into the picture? What is the Spark? How the Spark came into the picture? What is the difference between the Spark and Hadoop? And data proc. What is data proc? How it is different from the Hadoop and Spark? How do we create a cluster in the data proc? What is Spark? What is PySpark architecture? Ecosystem, creating a cluster in the data proc, lab sessions, introduction, extracting the data, loading the data, transforming. These are all lab sessions. This is going to take 7 days. These sessions are going to take 7 days. And sample data sets, case study 1, interesting case study 1. This is nothing but your project. You can put it in your project also. See, you can explain it in the interview also. Look at here. That's how I have created this one. I created this thing in such a way that you can explain this in a interview also. Look at here. I'm working on a project where employee travel records are maintained in a CSV files in their server. In the current scenario, visualization team is directly using these CSV files. Data cleaning and processing is getting compromised. So the client asked us to properly clean and transform the data and load it to the BigQuery so that a visualization team can use this data from the BigQuery or take it from the BigQuery. So this is one of the explanation. And what are the transformations that we are going to do? What is an architecture for that one? What is the sample data, PPT, and the code also? Everything is here. Case study 1. Similarly, case study 2, very interesting case study again. Healthcare case study. Put in your resume. You can put this one also. Processing a real-time patient's healthcare data using the cloud data proc, PySpark for insights and monitoring. We are going to see objective data source as JSON data validation step. No one will tell you in any course that how do they actually validate the data validation, data transformation, logging and monitoring. This is something that we are creating an industry standard code. We're not just randomly, I can just process the code in a file length, but everything you have to put here, right? So in the real time, when you are running your code in the production, right, production ready, you should be taking care of data validation, data logging, monitoring, error handling, right? All of these things we are going to put it here so that it makes most of the sense out of the course. Okay, and this is one thing. And after that, assignment 1, assignment 2, assignment 3, end-to-end batch pipeline. End-to-end batch pipeline for a machine learning use case. This is one of the machine learning use case, how you are going to support the machine learning team for processing the data for them. This is one of that. And similarly, you have a one more service called data flow. What is the data flow? How it is different from the data proc? And the Apache Beam. What is Apache Beam? Right? However, you have a data proc, you are using the Spark framework. Data flow, we are going to use Apache Beam. What is this Apache Beam framework and how it is different from the Spark, and what is the difference between the Spark and Apache Beam? Difference between the data proc and data flow, and how do we create a project in the data flow? Workbenches, Spark versus Beam, data proc versus data flow, lab sessions again. Introduction, extract, transform, and load. This itself takes 4 to 5 days. Sample data sets, use case 1, assign use case 1, again interesting e-commerce transaction processing use case. Assignment 1 for retail sales data processing. Template method of creating the pipelines, 2 use cases. End-to-end streaming pipeline, very interesting streaming pipeline. From a Python application to, in this one we are using the PubSub also. So what is PubSub and key concepts, how it works, use cases, and sample architecture. And this particular PubSub we have utilized in the data flow streaming pipeline. So Python, PubSub topic, data flow, extracting, transforming, loading to the BigQuery. So in this pipeline, we are going to do all of these things again. Validating, logging, monitoring, error handling, metrics, writing the data to the BigQuery, and reading the data from the data topic continuously. So it's a streaming pipeline, continuous data reading. Right? So this is how. And one more thing, Airflow. PubSub after that Airflow. Sir, what is Airflow? What is workflow orchestration first? What is Composer and Airflow? Architecture. What is DAG? Creating the DAG, cron job format. Creating the Composer environment. Level 1 DAG. This itself, it is one of the use case. I would say in the company, this itself, it is one of the use case. Right? Level 1 DAG. Level 2 DAG for data proc jobs. Level 3 for data flow. Level 4. Level 5 for assignment purpose. So this is how we are going to cover from the level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and level 5. All of these things that we are going to cover. And finally, you have a data fusion. So data fusion is again a video. So data fusion, what is data fusion and how we are going to work with data fusion. And then end-to-end data pipeline with the data fusion. You can see here, one of the end-to-end data pipeline using GCS data fusion and BigQuery. You have a sample data. I have created a dedicated video for that as well, because data fusion is not commonly used in the company. So that's the reason I have created a video. Okay, so this is one thing. And cloud functions. What is cloud function? What is a event-based solution? Use case 1, use case 2. Use case 1, I'm going to tell you. Use case 2 is for the assignment purpose again. Every topic will have assignments, I'm telling you guys. Databricks is our final topic. What is Databricks? What is data warehouse, data lake, and lakehouse architecture? And what is Databricks? Data lakehouse platform, Spark on Databricks, DBFS. Setting up a Databricks workspace in the Google Cloud platform. Unity catalog. In Unity catalog features, core concepts in the Unity catalog, catalog schema, table, and everything, clusters, everything we are going to see. Clusters, cluster types and modes, notebooks, notebook basics, DB utility commands, delta tables. What is this delta lake and delta lake tables? Dataset creation, structured streaming. What is structured streaming in the Databricks? Spark, autoloader in the Databricks, and the repo. We have a dedicated repo for this one. And workflow. What is the Databricks workflows and what are the jobs and how do we create the jobs and all of these features of the jobs. Medallion architecture. And after that, end-to-end workflow. We are going to see an end-to-end workflow in the, this is where we are going to end up our sessions. Okay, so this is what is a course, guys. And additionally, sorry. So additionally, I am providing you a resume templates for those who wanted to go for the interview, you need to have a resume template, isn't it? Sir, I do not know how to create my resume. You have a resume templates here. Sir, I do not know how do I explain myself in the interview, sir. They are asking me in what is introduction. So how do I explain in the interview, sir? If you wanted to do that, I make it very easy for you now. So this is what is introduction for you. And sir, I do not know how to explain the project, sir. Can you give up a, the details on the project one explanation? This is what is project one explanation. Architecture, sir, I wanted to go for project two explanation. Architecture. Sir, commonly asked data engineering theoretical questions, you have it here. So SQL questions, you have it here. Sir, PySpark questions, you have it here. Python questions, PySpark questions, you have it here. And sir, I'm going for a certification, sir. Can you provide me some of the dumps for the certification? You have it here. Sir, I have done everything in this one. You have everything here, guys. I'm telling you, we have done many things, and I've been teaching this one from the last 1.5 years. I made it every time I'm going to tune this course in such a way that uh, so that most of the things are added here, so that when you are working in a company, you should be able to properly work with all the details. So that's what the main name of the course. And people will be worried about scenario based questions. Don't worry at all. We are going to cover everything. You can able to tell this is what is the challenge that I have faced, and this is how I have done my project, and this is where I have tackled the situation, and I have fixed that problem. So such kind of things you are going to say, because we are going to cover everything here. Okay. Yep. So this is all about the course. Additionally, again, complimentary end-to-end project to a video that I'm providing you, and Terraform complementary topic, again video I'm providing you guys with an architecture and everything. Okay, so this is what it is. Now coming to the course details, sir. Course duration is 50 hours. It's gonna take 2.5 months. Timings daily 1 hour, Monday to Friday. Again, the timings are 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Monday to Friday. 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. every day, the same timings. Delivery sessions, online live sessions, sir. Add-ons, video recordings are provided, comprehensive material, assignments, real-time projects and case studies, interview questions, certification dumps, resume assistance. Sorry. So don't worry about the video recordings. They are going to provide it to you. Whatever the material that I have provided, material is provided to you. Assignments, real-time projects and case studies, interview questions, certification dumps, resume assistance. So these are the things we are going to provide you. The course timings are 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. every day, 1 hour. Prerequisite for the course. You need to, the students comes up with the basic knowledge, and the SQL basics is a prerequisite for the course, guys. So if you wanted to learn also, I will tell you how to learn, but don't worry about it. So this is the basics, you need to have it. That is one thing. And sir, who are the target audience? Whoever you are, if you are struggling to secure your dream job, sir, if you think that you are feeling stuck in your current role, looking for a fast growing, high demanding career, or sir, I do not know how to get a high pay, or I'm working in a non-IT, sir, I would like to break into the IT, or you are working in a testing main from support roles, or wherever you are, sir, I would like to get a good package. I wanted to be in a high demanding career. In that case, this course is for you guys. I'm telling you, I have transformed many people so far. You even don't even think with this course only, with the same course. Okay, so I am going to tell you in a very simple way for most of the things, so that you can able to understand each and every topic easily. Now tell me, guys, if anyone have any questions. I'm going to give you the time for you. Tell me if anyone have any questions, please. Yes, Shubham. Yes, please. Yes, correct. No, no, I am going to teach everything here. No, it will take like you can say 2.5 plus months, hardly less than 3 months you can take guys. This gonna take less than 3 months, not more than 3 months. Okay, less than 3 months for sure. No, it doesn't take that much time because I'll tell you how to tackle all of these things. Yeah. I've been doing it from the last 1.5 year, almost 60 plus batches, hardly less than 3 months, you can say. Okay. No. Whatever I am telling you, I'll tell you also again one more time. So I think I have a proper screenshot. So this is what is I'm going to tell you guys in the course. I would like to tell you one thing. There is this big table that is, we are not going into the one depth. Okay, this is basics. Again, there is a Terraform, we have a video, and that's it. I think all other things we are covering end to end. Okay, so you also mentioned here two big BigQuery case studies, two case studies in the data proc, one end to end batch pipeline. This one for end to end DAX in the Airflow. All of these things I am going to real time. We are going to cover in the sessions. Okay, yeah, right. Yeah. Any other questions, anyone? Okay, sure. If you wanted to talk with me, right, you please connect with an admin, and because I can't provide my number, one thing. So if you wanted to talk with me, and you can actually connect with admin, they will call me so that we can talk personally. Yes. Okay. Yes. So I think admins will actually paste their contact details and everything. So or they will ping you guys. If you are providing a proper number, they are going to ping you, so you provide your proper details. Yes. Any other questions, anyone? Any questions, anyone, please? Okay. This is our course curriculum, guys. See, overview, introduction, interfaces, locations, admin, programming, Linux basics, Python for data engineering, PySpark, and Apache. GCS, Cloud SQL, BigQuery, data proc, data flow, data fusion, Airflow, PubSub, cloud functions, and Databricks. And case studies, this one, all of these things. This is our course, GCP data engineering, 2.5 months, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. every day. Recordings are provided, resume templates, interview questions, certification dumps, material, all of these things are included. Okay. Yes. Any questions, anyone? So this Terraform and this one also, if you look at here, this I have taught for previous batch only. If you actually go and look at here, this is the one I have taught only. Okay, the only thing is that I wanted to focus on more on different areas. These are not commonly used, so such kind of topics, what I usually do is that I just create a video out of it so that people can watch it, right? So that's all. Yeah. Yes, please, guys, any questions? Mm-hmm. Correct. See, the moment you are, yes, the moment you are learning all the tools, right? So that exposure will by default will come. Because when you're working in a data engineering position, they ask you to work on one area, maybe on the data proc or a data flow. At that point of time, you do not know what is other tools do, what is your architecture, but what is we are going to cover. Look at here. So a separate use case we are going to tackle. The moment I'm taking a use cases, I'm solving with a different scenarios. By default, your mindset will be okay for this kind of a data or for this kind of a activities. We can choose this particular tool, and for that activity I can go for that tool. So such kind of a mindset would always be built when you are actually learning about all the services, and when looking at in different pipelines and projects, right, use cases. So such kind of a mindset by default will come. I don't have to separately teach. Okay, so when I say I say Airflow for workflow orchestration, you will directly understand, okay, there's a workflow orchestration in the in the Google Cloud platform, that's Airflow. So whenever I wanted to use workflow, I can just go to the Airflow. That's directly come. Again, there is a, for example, cloud functions, right? So in my company, I have to create a event based solution. So by default, you your mindset, I already learned about one of the event-based solution, that is cloud functions. We can make use of the cloud functions for event-based. So such kind of a things we are going to see. Okay, every tool has its own properties. So by default, when you are learning that, you will understand how can you use it in your further projects and everything. Okay. Yeah. Not required. See, that entire way of working culture is gone. If you wanted to learn Hadoop and get into the job, there is no job at all outside. Okay. That's gone. That's Hadoop is gone. See, people are who are already working in the Hadoop, they're gone. They're actually have to upskill themselves and go to some other area. There's no Hadoop now. Okay, so not required. Not required. See, such kind of a knowledge will be there here also, but we are not focusing on that. That's what I'm telling you. The moment you are entering into the cloud, you don't worry about the infrastructure. With right. So the moment you are entering into the cloud, you don't worry about the infrastructure, because infrastructure takes the time. We don't want it to focus on the infrastructure. Focus on the innovation, development. So the courses are whatever the course nowadays you are learning, that courses are more focused towards the development rather than infrastructure building. Okay, so such a kind of somewhere when I'm talking about the data proc, for example, I'll talk about it. What was the problems? For example, how the Hadoop before the Hadoop, what were the challenges? Scalability, processing time, derivative, and they were looking for a Hadoop, and Hadoop is able to provide you the solution. But once after the Hadoop, there's a Spark, and after the Spark, we are learning about the data proc. So that's fair. So we don't go back in time. Again, we always work. And after there may be one more tool, that is Databricks nowadays. So such that we are going to work every day. But it doesn't mean that you're, but here if you are going to work on the data block, right? Now you will be able to see, sir, I should create a cluster. While you are creating the cluster, what is the master configuration and worker configuration? Only configuration you will provide. You don't need to have a knowledge on what is a master will do and all of those things. You don't need to in detail have to focus on a high level idea is enough. Okay, again, so you are going to be a data engineer only, but senior data engineer. Yeah, of course, that a senior data engineer should be able to have a good knowledge on all of these tools and should be able to work in the company for the project. Yes, that is covered here. Senior data engineer, even lead data engineers also. Yes, sure, sure, sure. Even data engineer is also one of the developer. Yeah, but in the data roles. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Any other questions, anyone, please? Okay. So I hope you do not have any questions. If you guys have any questions, you can ask me. I'm available now. And tomorrow also we have a one more demo session, everyone. One more demo session which is free. You can attend the demo session for free, demo 2 for free at the same time, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Okay, so this is what is the regular sessions are from Monday, the next Monday. Okay, so this is what it is. So we are having demo 2, which is again a free session, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. same time. Please attend the demo session, and we are going to cover one more topic tomorrow. Okay, and that is a continuous topic. Yeah, tell me guys if anyone have any questions. Yes. SQL. SQL is the knowledge that we are expecting, because Python we are covering. Okay. Yeah. SQL is the prerequisite for the course, guys. Don't worry about any other thing. The only prerequisite is SQL. The only prerequisite is SQL. Other things I am going to teach in the session. Okay. Yes. Okay, guys. I hope it is clear. Anyone have any other questions, please? Any other questions, anyone? Okay, so I hope we are good, guys. If anyone have any questions, you can ask me tomorrow also, because we are also having the demo too tomorrow also. So if anyone have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, we can wind up the session, guys. Thank you all. Have a great day. Bye bye. We will meet tomorrow. Thank you, guys. I hope you have learned something today. Thank you, guys.